Welcome to the first episode of the birth and history of Utica, New York's St. Mary Mount Carmel Blessed Sacrament Church. In our series, we'll explore not only our history, but also some of the art-filled corners of our beautiful sanctuary. We stand before the present building known as St. Mary Mount Carmel Blessed Sacrament Church. On August 3rd, 2021, the parish will be celebrating the 125th anniversary of the purchase of the land in 1895, upon which it lies. But the history of this congregation precedes that date by several years. We need first to look back at the mother church of this predominantly Italian-American parish. Historic Old St. John's Church in downtown Utica was incorporated in 1819, largely to serve the Irish-American community who came in the first half of the 19th century to help build the Erie Canal. The canal would go on to establish the city of Utica as a major stop on the waterway. It was the beginning of the boom that made the city a center of commerce and manufacturing. Although the Mohawk Valley, and Utica in particular, had a few families of Italian origin in the mid-1800s, larger numbers arrived after the Civil War. It was Cecilia Rapetti Kernan, the Italian-American wife of one of Utica's leading citizens, Michael Kernan, who helped organize in 1865 the then small community as part of the congregants of historic Old St. John's Parish. With Reconstruction and industrialization after the Civil War, the demand to move goods more swiftly spurred the construction of the West Shore Railroad. This brought more Italian laborers, followed by their families, to the area. Once again, Utica experienced a boost in its economy. Great textile mills and brickyards that furnished the building materials from which they were constructed employed increased numbers of laborers. Large numbers from the impoverished southern Italian peninsula, still reeling from the instability created by the unification of the Italian state, came to supply the needed workforce here. By 1887, the Italian-American community within the parish of St. John's had grown large enough to have its own priest, Father Antonio Castelli, who was an assistant to Monsignor James M. Lynch of St. John's. It was Father Castelli who inspired the Italians of St. John's to build their own church. To that end, Monsignor Lynch donated an old school building on Catherine Street. Father Castelli turned it into a temporary house of worship and meeting place. Having this great gift from Monsignor and having pride of ownership instilled in the Italian community a greater desire to build a real church. It was decided that the new building would be dedicated to the Madonna, a familiar presence in the lives of the community. She was an image to which they turned in times of need in their homeland, throughout the arduous journey to their new country, and during their adjustment to the new land. With the help of Bishop Ludden of the Syracuse Diocese, Monsignor Lynch, and important persons of the community like Cecilia Rapetti Kernan, the Church of Santa Maria Monte Carmelo was incorporated into the Syracuse Diocese in July 1895. The first soil was turned in April of 1896. The modest coffers of the new parish ran out quickly, and a loan from the bishop was required to continue the work. On December 20th, 1896, Father Castelli was able to hold the first Mass in what then was only the basement of the new building. And in 1898, a rectory was built adjacent to the rising sanctuary so that the pastor could be close to his flock. By 1901, the church and rectory were debt-free. It was at this time that the Society of St. Mary of Mount Carmel was founded. its principal function being to raise needed funds to eliminate further debt accrued during construction of the church. With that settled, Father Castelli and the Mount Carmel Society could concentrate on building the church above the basement. On September 15, 1901, Bishop of Piacenza, Gian Battista Scalabrini, founder of the Congregation of the Missionary Priests and the Missionary Sisters of St. Charles, who were dedicated to serving the people of Italian diaspora throughout the world, blessed the cornerstone of the new church. It was a difficult year. Inclement weather sometimes took its toll by preventing the celebration of Mass in the poorly appointed basement. However, by June 29, 1902, the modest house of worship, consisting of a single nave, was able to be used for the first Mass. Father Castelli, feeling the rigors of the building of a parish from the ground up and the pressure of an ever-growing flock, requested, and was granted, an assistant, Father Joseph Formia. It must have been written in the book of fate, because a year later, Father Castelli passed. His funeral was celebrated at Mount Carmel by Bishop Ludden himself, and the founder of our parish was laid to rest in St. Agnes Cemetery. Thank you for joining us. Come visit us next time when we'll see how the original rudimentary structure proved inadequate for a growing congregation. We'll also see the birth of our parochial school and how teaching sisters joined our staff.